What is going on today, guys? Tomcat here, and today we are back in Forza Horizon 2, which is something I haven't actually said in a while since I've been playing a bunch of other games like Spin Tires, but it's really good to be back in Forza Horizon 2, and we're actually going to be taking a look at the new MX5 DLC pack. Now, we've got the 2016 MX5, the MX5 Super 20, which is basically like a track car, and we've got also the 05 MX5 Mazda Speed, and as well as the original NA MX5, the original first generation, with different wheels and the roof removed. So we're going to be looking at these cars a lot in some future videos, but in this video we're going to be particularly focusing on the 2016 model. Now, we're going to drive it around a little bit stock, and then we're going to build up the power a little bit, maybe do a couple of suspension modifications, and that'll pretty much be it, really. Now, let's see. I think I'm going to go with, honestly, yeah, red. Needs to be red. Needs to be red for sure. But, I wouldn't say it's going to be like a full-out crazy build. We'll do a little bit to the power, maybe like 50 or 100 more horsepower, but no like 2JZ swap or anything like that. We'll save that for later. Go ahead and leave the auto show, and I'm thinking we'll probably go ahead and, if they give us the option to put a turbo on it, we'll go ahead and turbo it. And yes, you're probably thinking, well, hey, that's a major mod. Not particularly, depending on how much horsepower it adds. But let's go ahead and launch it. Well, actually not launch it. We'll go ahead and get a sound clip first off. It actually spins a little bit. It's funny, it actually spins a little bit through first, and then once you get traction, I mean, keep in mind we're in the rain, but still. And no, it's not crazy fast a straight line. I mean, we're in 4th gear, now only just touched 100. So no, it's no straight line beast by any means. But when you get to a corner, let's see how it behaves. Oh yeah, oh wow. Yeah, it had no problem at all transitioning straight to oversteer. And remember, this is in the rain on stock power. And I'm ripping the e-brake. I'm doing all the stuff that I would do in like a 1,000 horsepower car just in this. And it pretty much just accepts it and just does it. The interior of this car is really clean, really basic. That screen looks kind of nice. It's nothing, you know, ridiculous on the interior, but again, the point of this car is for driving. It's not to, you know, sit around and stare at the interior. So I think after this quick test drive, I was thinking about taking it to the docks, but I think instead of taking it to the docks, we'll keep it right around this area, because the docks, they're more suited to just kind of going crazy, right? You just got to slide everywhere, and it doesn't matter really which way you slide as long as you're sliding. Whereas here, if you stay in kind of like in the city area of Nice, you have to kind of avoid traffic. You've got to judge your corners. And I feel like it's a little bit more in-depth of an experience for sure. Ooh, get back down a gear. I mean, yeah, get down to 2nd, give it a little bit of a clutch kick, and it'll go. You can momentum drift it a little bit. Until you lose your momentum, and that's when you try to rely on power, and you can't. The rain definitely helps, though. I mean, if you got a low horsepower car and you're trying to slide it all over the place, yeah, rain definitely helps. Whoa, a little too much. A little too much. Sometimes it can catch you out, but only if you're not paying attention, honestly. See if we can get a couple more good slides in before we take it back to the garage and give it a bit more oomph. A bit more power. And still, not bad. Really easy to control. You could turn this into whatever you wanted, honestly. You could turn it into a circuit-based car. You could turn it into a drift car. You could leave it stock like it is now and just have a really, really, really fun cruising car. It's pretty much great either way. I mean, and through that little section right there, if you're used to drifting higher horsepower cars, you know, you're used to kind of having to modulate the throttle all over the place. But through that little section back there, it's kind of like a 2-corner transition. I was flat, 100% flat on the throttle. So, I mean, really, it's not that hard to get this thing sideways and keep it there. And it'd be great for beginners to learn. This, in the rain, would be incredible for a beginner drift car. Absolutely perfect, actually. Just hit the e-brake, and then you're good to go. You're just sliding. Maintain it with the throttle, just basically hard down on the throttle. And at this point, kind of want to take it back and give it some power, because everything is better with more power. Well, I wouldn't say everything. There are some things that aren't, but this thing, I think it could be pretty sweet after a new set of wheels, tires, suspension, and a little bit of power. So let's go ahead and get to the garage and see what we can do. Now, first thing we're going to go for is the suspension. Well, I mean, they stick brakes in there too, so we might as well just do the brakes as well. And go ahead and bring it down all the way. Let's just see what it looks like on rally suspension. Ugh. Race suspension looks really nice, though. Eliminates the wheel gap and looks absolutely brilliant. And again, we were sliding this thing around earlier only with 155 horsepower, and that's not a lot. But, as you guys could see, it's still really easy to get this thing sideways. At least in the rain it is. Or if you have momentum. Race transmission. I just like to do all of this stuff as kind of supporting mods. And, I mean, even if I'm not going to add a ton of power, I'll still do all of this stuff. So, not actually focusing more on performance, but focusing on the side of, like, if I want to adjust something, I install all the race parts so I just have that adjustability. So I can open up the tuner and be like, hey, I need, you know, a little bit more out of this gear or a little bit more out of that gear. You know what I mean? It's more focused on that than just, say just to put race parts on the car. And it's actually already got street tire compound, so we're going to leave that. And let's see, it's got 205s. Is that 205 square? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. 225, 245. Let's go 225 in the front. And actually, we can get, oh, okay, 235, 255. Let's get a 235 in the back. And I know 225, 235 is kind of an odd stagger because it's really, like, you might as well not even be staggered at all. Like, when you only have a 10mm stagger, you might as well not even be staggered at all. But, I mean, if it gave me the option of 235 square, I would do it. But, I mean, I feel like you only want to go staggered if you're going to do at least like a 20mm stagger or something like that. But, let's see. It's kind of tricky, actually, to find a really good set of wheels that kind of work with this car. Those do. Oh, wow, those really do. Those really do. We can get as far as maybe making them just a little bit bigger. There's 17s right now, 18, 19, 20 is too much. 19s actually look really good. I kind of like the 18 in the front, 19 in the back. I think that's, I don't know, it kind of makes it look more staggered than it actually is, which I don't know why I like that look, I just do. Let's see, there's really nothing for aero and appearance, and yeah, I mean, other than the Forza parts, which you could use, but I'm not really interested in using them at the moment. And let's see, oh wow, we can do a single turbo, a twin screw supercharger, or a centrifugal supercharger. I'm going with a single turbo. Because, I mean, you guys just know. You guys just know turbos all the way. Well, not really. I love turbos and superchargers. It just depends on the application. I just want to see how this thing does turboed. Let's see. Race exhaust. I get it up to around maybe 260 horsepower. That should be plenty. Probably won't even... Okay, yeah, that's 260 already. We won't even have to touch the turbo, really, so... So only, like, light upgrades to the engine. But, you know, I say light upgrades. We're already, you know, way more, well, I don't say way more, but a little bit more than 100 horsepower over stock. So it should be really, really fun. Oh, yeah. Very different car. Very different car. It's got turbo lag for sure, but once you're in the power band, whoo, it is all over the place in a good way. Oh, man, yeah, it keeps the back tires spinning the whole time. The whole time. If you want wheel spin, just ask for it. Go into boost and you've got it immediately. And really, I almost feel like in the little bit of driving I've done with this car right now, even if you were turning it into a drift car, you really don't need much more horsepower than this. I mean, I'm sure, you know, yeah, you could swap it. You could get this thing, you know, well over 500 horsepower easily. But I'm trying to think what that would be like, and I feel like the way it sits right now is so nice. I mean, it's, you know, yeah, you don't have to, you know, you're not trying to fight it at all, but, I mean, you're still, like, for these drifts, I'm full throttle, right? And I feel like if I went with, you know, a ton more horsepower, like 200 or 300 more, then I would just be having to feather the throttle everywhere. Whereas, I mean, going full throttle is fun. You know, full throttle drifting is fun, and it kind of, it shows you that you're using the car's full potential rather than just kind of, you know, lightly touching the throttle every once in a while. And this thing is so balanced, too, that you can just momentum drift it everywhere. I'm finding that second gear is really where the, I guess where the money is as far as the drift points. But, I mean, well, drift points, drift lines, I mean, I think you would want to stay in second gear unless you could manipulate the gearing a little bit to make third. Actually, you know what? To make third work, we can, because we installed a race gearbox. Let's see. Up just a little. A little more. And let's see how that does. Because when you're drifting, you're generally drifting in second and third, depending on the car. Oh, much better. Yeah, that works a ton better. So for sections like this, you keep it in second, and then kick it up to third, and you're still right in the power band, right in boost. It's not trying to bog down or anything. It's just perfect, really. And I feel like if you wanted to make third really work on the stock setup, yeah, you'd need more power. But it depends on what you'd rather, you know, what you'd rather change. Would you rather change the gearing, or would you rather change the power? Personally, I have no problem with either one. I'll do either. It just depends on what you want to experiment with. But with this car, I love the power level the way it is. Like, there's so much that I was just like, yeah, you know what? I just want to change the gearing and let that be that, really. Oh, it's ridiculously fun. I mean, especially when you're not hitting things. But it's such a fun little car to get sideways. It really is. And I feel like if you don't at least have one of these in your garage just to take out every once in a while, you're kind of missing out because there's a lot of balance here. There really is. And no, wow, Willies, okay. But yeah, there's a lot of balance here, and it's not, you know, it's not going to be the top of the drift scoreboards. You know, it's not going to be, you know, everybody's go-to battle car in, like in the Forza Motorsport games. But for a car that's just a really nice all-rounder and just fun to drive, this thing really does a great job of it, and I really like it. I'm really pleased with the actual setup here. Really pleased with the build, and it just seems like it came out exactly the way I wanted it to. And I'll be honest, some of these cars, sometimes they don't really come out the way I want them to, but this one really, really did. I really liked this car, really enjoyed using it, and if you guys want to copy my setup, feel free to do that. And if you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to leave me a like. Tell me in the comment section down below what you guys thought of it, and if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe for more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Talk to you guys later.